Oh wow. Okay. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my tiny little Seoul apartment. I hope you missed it here. As you can see, I am all cozied up for today's video because we are going to be doing a 24-hour readathon. I really wish I could do like the real deal, but I really can't be sleep deprived here because if you don't know, I am here in Korea doing language school and I can't get sleep deprived over the weekend because I need my rest and I need to be able to go back to school with a fresh mind because learning Korean, dude, takes like 100% of my brain. I really can't be sleep deprived. I have plans tomorrow, so I can't do like the legit kind, but we are going to be doing the timer method because I still want to like read all day, you know, and I have no plans today. I just have plans tomorrow, so it will probably carry over into the week a little bit, but I'm definitely going to knock out as much as possible today. So let's get into TBR. Currently I am reading The Crown of Gilded Bones, which is the third book in the Blood and Ash series. I've actually been surprisingly enjoying it so far. I've heard a lot of bad things about this series, so I think I just went in with like really low expectations, not expecting much, but what I got was like a really unique world, pretty good writing. Like I do like Jennifer Armentrout's writing style. Like it really does make me intrigued with everything. I don't know, I feel like it just suits it. And for me, a good writing style will trump super interesting plot any day because the plot, there have definitely been times where it's dragged, definitely. Like specifically at the beginning of each book. And when I mean beginning, I mean more like the first 50%. Not a whole lot happens. Not a whole lot of action, not a whole lot of whatever, but it's still been interesting and it's because of the way that she writes. So sorry if that's an unpopular opinion, but I feel like she's a pretty good writer. And this book, let me tell you, the beginning, I've just read like 60 pages. I read it yesterday and so much happened already. Oh my days. It was like, what is happening? So much whiplash, which has been a welcome change because that has not happened yet with her books in the beginning. So yeah, that is definitely going to be on the TBR. I am also listening to Gone with the Wind right now. I'm probably going to want to take a break from reading with my eyes at some point, and maybe if I go get takeout, like if I go get food, I want to still be reading. So I'll probably just plug that in. But it's filling my quota for, I have a goal to read a classic every season, so kind of like every quarter, but like season makes it more fun. And Gone with the Wind is my one for summer. Thankfully I'm finally halfway through. I didn't start until July, so I kind of lost June, but hopefully I will completely finish it by the time August ends and then I can start a fall classic. It is a really long book, guys. I don't know if you knew that, but Gone with the Wind is so long. It's probably only a little bit shorter than War and Peace. Like it's so long. There's like a whole genre of like extremely long classics, like Count of Monte Cristo, Les Mis, Gone with the Wind, War and Peace. Like all those are like so long, well over 1,000 pages. It's been slow going, but I'm still enjoying it. I feel like I really digest classics well when it's in audio form, so I definitely want to keep on doing that. But anyway, other than that, I've actually been in like a literary fiction mood lately, which is so unheard of because I love fantasy and fantasy is where I want to live and what I want to read constantly, so this is kind of new. And by literary fiction, I basically just mean like fiction that takes place in our world and not fantasy. Sometimes something can be a thriller, but to me it's just like literary fiction, like because a lot of thrillers just aren't thrilling, they're just kind of like psychological and interesting. Like Gone Girl was not a thriller. Like I read that in another 24-hour readathon and I was so taken aback by the way that it was written. Like it was not thrilling, it was just very psychological and it was kind of boring to be honest. So I watched the movie and I actually enjoyed that better. I know, because it was like faster paced in the movie, like, and I felt like that actually worked for it.
Quick PSA before y'all come for me. I'm not saying that Gone Girl was a bad book, I just think that it being advertised as a thriller did not do it any favors because it was a lot more of a literary fiction with a lot of psychological emphasis, and that I think that the thriller label is overused and a lot of it should just be referred to as psychological literary fiction. That's all I'm saying.
So anyway, I downloaded like a whole bunch of literary fiction and some of it is like thrillers, some of it is like just more sad. The popular book talk ones that I've collected that I have not read yet, like Girl in Pieces, How It Feels to Float, Sadie, You'd Be Home Now. But then some thrilling ones like The Woman in Cabin 10, Before I Go to Sleep, The Husband's Secret, The Kind Worth Killing. So stuff like that I'm kind of just craving right now, and I don't know which one exactly I'm going to read, but I'm probably gonna read one of them. I don't know like anything about any of them, and that's kind of on purpose because I feel like they're, with literary fiction, I just kind of want to go in blind, especially. Well, I want to go in blind with like every book, but literary fiction, I feel like I really don't want to be bored by it. And if I know the gist, I might get bored by it. So anyway, I'm gonna, maybe I'll just like pick a random number and use that to choose which one to read because I literally don't know. Other than that, I quite honestly don't really know. I'll probably go right back to fantasy after that. I have a lot of duologies, fantasy duologies that I want to read, and duologies are just really nice because they're just 2 books, a really short series, and I can just get it over with. So I might read one of those after that. But anyway, I'm gonna start off with Crown of Gilded Bones. I'll probably switch back and forth between Crown of Gilded Bones and listening to my audiobook because I also have a paint by number. Yes, I brought a paint by number to Korea because I'm just like that apparently. But I might want to kind of take a break with my reading brain and turn on my listening brain and my art brain and just go ahead and do that as a by itself. But we're gonna start off with just physically reading on my Kindle. I really miss physical books. Oh man, I didn't bring any physical books with me, but I really miss holding books. Oh. But anyway, I'm gonna be reading it on my e-reader, so it's fine. It's a very good substitute. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna pull up the timer. We are going to do 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds because for some reason it doesn't go up to 24 hours. That's great. Okay, let's go. Oh my gosh. The beginning of this book is making me so angry. Not the book, like the person. You tell him, girl. Oh my gosh. This is so stressful. What's happening? Oh my gosh. Oh. My heart. I'm getting Twilight flashbacks. What is happening? This book is wild so far. Holy crap. Alrighty, we are an hour in, and I do realize now that when I started the timer, it was on the wrong time. But I fixed it. It's all good. I read 80 pages of Crown of Gilded Bones. Now I am going to figure out lunch. I have been craving instant ramen. But like instant ramen here is so good though. Probably get like some takeout for dinner. For lunch, I think I'm just gonna run to the convenience store. I also want like a drink and maybe a sweet. I'm going to go ahead and do a 7-Eleven run. I'll take you guys with me and we'll see what we can find there. Alright, we got the goods. I ended up getting kimbap instead because I just had a lot of options today, and so I got a tuna kimchi kimbap, which is very exciting. And I got this drink. It's not the brand that I normally get, but it seems like it's this similar kind of thing. It's like really refreshing. My throat's kind of been bothering me, so I just wanted like a refreshing, cold, lightweight drink. And then I got those custard bread things that I just always get because they're so good. And they don't have a lot of calories. Like they don't feel like Hostess sweets, but they're still like really good. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and eat and read at the same time. Also, it's so funny when I go to the convenience store and the owners don't know what to do with me because I'm very obviously a foreigner. And it's like they assume I don't know Korean, and I don't know a lot, but I definitely know enough to communicate with the convenience store owner. So it's kind of funny that they just like say nothing. They just like point. Trying to do every nonverbal communication. I mean, it's a fair assumption, but I wish it wasn't so intimidating for them because I want to practice. Oh yeah, that is the spot. I mean, I get it. Like, I have a friend that lives in Thailand, and she's really good at Thai, but she's like white, like very obviously white. She'll just say like the people just get so like, crap, I forget all the English as soon as a white person comes. Like they just immediately feel the need that they have to like speak English, but then they like forget all their English, and so they're just like. at 21 hours and 43 minutes. Look at my nephew. Just appreciate. I transitioned to a little bit of painting and listening because I was getting kind of drowsy and I'm still snacking. But yeah, I'm still listening to Gone with the Wind. How far am I into it? I wish that Audible had like percentages and stuff. Well, I'm far. I'm over halfway through. It's very interesting. I feel like I thought it was going to be more of a romance, but the romance is just now kind of happening. I feel like that's kind of interesting. It's just been a lot of like war talk because it's about the Civil War. I'm really enjoying just the passive listening experience because I need a little bit of that right now to get my mind off of the week. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Alright, I've officially read a total of 4 hours and that seems like too small. I feel like I read a lot today, either read or listened. I am 37% through Crown of Gilded Bones, and I read 2 chapters of Gone with the Wind, and all of those chapters are meaty, so that's no small thing. So, and all that took 4 hours. I feel like more time should have passed, or it's now evening. I'm about to get dinner. I'm about to go get some takeout. And I'm just like, I've only read 4 hours today? How did that happen? It's crazy how much time all the other stuff takes. Eating, going to the bathroom, checking my phone, texting people, like all of that took up the rest of my day. And sleeping. I did take a nap. It was a short nap. It was only like 30-minute nap. So I don't understand the passage of time, but I'm definitely going to be reading a lot. In the evening, that's kind of when you're supposed to be like winding down and getting tired and stuff. That's when I really wake up. So I've been drowsy all day, and that means I'm going to be really awake at night. My sleeping schedule is so healthy. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some takeout because I'm hungry. It is 5:50. Luckily, there is a restaurant right down the road that sells like everything. I looked at their menu just to see what I would want, and I'm probably gonna get some tonkatsu with kimchi fried rice. I have like a set meal for that, and oh my god, that sounds really good. So I'm gonna go get that. I don't know if I'll film there though. It's not interesting. I'll just be waiting for takeout, but I'll let you guys know when I get back.
Ooh, yeah, baby.
That Poppy is unable to like adequately be clothed at all times is baffling. It's definitely interesting that this romance, they just can't get a room, you know? They just like, well, they do get a room, but like at very inopportune times. Like, guys, you know there's something like going on, do you have to do that now? It's like so much of, wow, like they just can't keep it in their pants. Physically unable to. This is so random, but there's like a group of women in this called Guardians, and they're just like super badass women who protect the city or whatever, and they're just like very specially trained for it. And it reminded me of the Amazons from Wonder Woman, but it's also reminding me of, oh man, this was my childhood, okay, don't judge, of the Scout Fairies from the Tinkerbell movies. Dude, I wanted to be a Scout Fairy so bad when I was little. Let me tell you, they're just so cool. They're so cool. They can fly, they're nimble, and they just have all those weapons, and they like fight and protect Pixie Hollow. I'm just like, I wanted to be that so bad. Why are they reminding me of that? My brain is a very interesting place to be. Officially 50% through of my book, and I'm at 18 hours and 19 minutes left. Almost 5 hours? Or almost 6 hours. Yes. Almost 6 hours. And I broke out my milk kiss as well because I need someone to hold me tonight. This will have to do. But I'm still really enjoying it. It is just really annoying. What I was saying before is like literally when Poppy does anything, the love interest is like, well, time to head to the bedroom. It's like anytime she does anything good or anything violent or anything, just doing anything, he's just like, yeah, let's go. It's so much. And I really don't like spice. Like I always skip past it or skip past as much as I can. And so I feel like there's just a lot of moments that I have to just like, okay, here we go. So that's the only qualm really I have with it right now, because it's really taking an interesting turn. Like the plot and everything else is really interesting to me. So it's kind of the only complaint I have right now, like the only big complaint. Yeah, overall I'm enjoying it. Alrighty, I'm at 17 hours. I can't stop laughing because I just got on my phone and opened up YouTube for a second, and there was a video that showed a picture of a baby in the womb, like an MRI of a baby in the womb, and it had me cracking up. Oh my gosh. It'll either give you nightmares or make you laugh, and for me it just made me laugh. But anyway, yeah, I'm at 17 hours, so I've been reading for 7 hours. Yep, that was right. I was right this time. And if I were to guess, I would say probably 5 of that was reading this book, and then 2 of that was listening to the audiobook. That's kind of my estimation. I am at 60%, so I'm almost 2/3 of the way through on page 430 out of 695. So that's some pretty good progress if I do say so myself. I'm not done, but I'm going to transition to a little bit more of the painting and listening because my eyes need a break. They are merely mortal and can't handle that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, I'm at 15.5 hours. So, wow, I really should calculate before starting the camera. I think it's 8.5 hours. I've read for 8.5 hours today. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I read about 150 pages of Gone with the Wind on audio. This book, I mean, I feel like I have a lot to say because this book, I mean, it's kind of expected because it's about the Civil War from the South's perspective. But wow, is it racist? It's not just like, I feel like you can mistake some things for racist. Like To Kill a Mockingbird, for instance, I feel like that's it may like include racial slurs that make me very uncomfortable, but the overall story is very non-racist. Like it's very anti-racist. But with this, it feels like the opposite. Like they use the slurs and it feels like the message, like I don't know what the message is. I'm like, I need to know more about this author because she seems like she's on the South side. Like she seems like she's racist. And I literally cannot tell if that is the perspective of the author or just because she is telling it from the perspective of a racist person. Like the main character, she's racist. Like the idea of black people being free and being able to vote and marrying white people and like stuff like that is very like crazy to her. Unheard of. That's like our world has really gone to hell if that happens. You know, like that mindset is like insane to me and it makes me so mad. So I just am so incredulous at this book. So many times I've just been like, they did not just say that. I think it is important that this book exists because it's history and it's really important that we know our history so we don't repeat it. And so I feel like that's very relevant in that way. It's just so hard to read from this perspective. Oh, it's just so incredibly bad. Here's where I wonder if the author is actually racist or not, because it's clear that the main character is not supposed to be a moral example. Like it's very clear from the beginning she's just a bad person. She's just a bad person. Scarlett O'Hara is a terrible person. She's manipulative, she's racist, she is classist, she thinks she's better than everyone else, she's arrogant, she will do anything to get what she wants, she doesn't care about anyone or anything. And so it's just very, I don't think that she is designed to be a moral character. I don't think we're supposed to see her as an example. So it's hard for me to tell if because of that the author is trying to speak out against racism or if she's for it. Like I legitimately can't tell. I really hope that it's the former. I really hope she's using this character as like almost a way to make fun of the way people were back then. That's kind of my hope for Margaret Mitchell. Like I hope that that's why she's writing this character this way, because it is really terrible. And it definitely, like I said before, I thought it was going to be like a romance, like something a little more Jane Austen-esque where the romance is kind of the main plot point but with the backdrop of the war. That has definitely been the opposite. It's mainly been about the war and this character's hardships that she experiences through the war, and then there's a very, very back burner romance, which is so wild because you see all the posters and all the pictures and stuff of Gone with the Wind is all her and Rhett, just like all of them. That's really what it's marketed as, I feel like. So I feel deceived. I feel like all those girls that read Cruel Prince thinking it was going to be all about a romance and then found out it was just a bunch of politics and the romance doesn't begin until book 2. I felt that way because the book it's not almost over. There is still a lot left, but it has been 800 pages. If this isn't a slow burn, I don't know what is. Scarlett has been married twice already and it's not to Rhett. It is also interesting to hear the perspective of the Confederates because I feel like I don't usually hear that. Like this is another way it's kind of morally gray because I also think that the Confederates did have it pretty bad during the war. The brunt of the battles, if not all of the battles, were fought in the South. So it was a lot of the Confederates that were actually getting their homes burned down, getting invaded, having to leave and be refugees somewhere else. And when the Yankees took over in any of the spots, then they would like go in and steal a lot. They would steal a lot, they would kill, they would rape, they would do all those horrible things. And so I think that that is also important to remember, that there wasn't like a 100% moral side. Like they both did things that were terrible. So I think that is also important to remember, just as an overall rule of war. Like there isn't one person, there isn't one side that was completely blameless. So that is good to remember as well. So it's just it's a very interesting read. I will say that. It's just really taking me aback by how racist it has become, because at the beginning it wasn't really that bad. Like it definitely was, because they were keeping the slaves because they thought of them in this certain way, but there wasn't a whole lot of like blatant hateful things said about them. You know, probably because they had them as slaves, they had them where they wanted them, so they didn't have to say all those hateful things about them. But now that they are coming out into society, then all the hateful stuff is coming to the surface, and it's just really disturbing. So I definitely still want to finish it because I want to know how it ends. I feel like that'll tell me a lot about the moral of the story, maybe. And it's also a goal of mine, you know, to finish this book. So I'm gonna keep on reading it, but I think I'm just going to, it's midnight now, so I should probably think about going to bed soon. I'm probably going to read a little bit more of Crown of Gilded Bones before I go to bed, but I will let you guys know in the morning when I start to read again.
Okay guys, sorry I didn't film this morning, but I read a little bit more of both of the books. My timer is at 13 hours and 20 minutes now, so almost 11 hours? Almost 11 hours. And now I'm at 75% of the way through Crown of Gilded Bones, and I read another chapter of Gone with the Wind. Yeah, that's where I'm at, but now I'm on my way to meet my friend, so I'm walking to the train station right now, so see you guys later. It is so hot, can I just say? I was not expecting Korea to be this hot. It's in the 90s now. Well, I think that is like pretty hot. It hasn't been that hot yet so far in my visit, but it is 90 degrees, and it's humid too, so it feels like home. At least there's that.
Howdy y'all, finally got back. It has been a while. It is 10 p.m. Still have time to read, though I just tried to remember if I had any homework and I don't. I still have time to read. This is the brand that I was looking for. The best. It had a 2+1 too, so I bought 3 for the price of 2. So that is pretty great. But anyway, I need this because it is so freaking hot today and I need hydration and refreshment. So today I'm at 78%, so not much more have I read because I basically only read on the train to and from the place. So I need to read some more for today, knock off a little bit more time, maybe listen to a little more Gone with the Wind if I get tired, I get sleep deprived. But what I don't get done today, I will get done tomorrow or Tuesday, whenever I have time. But just know, I am reading literally every chance I get. Like, I am not wasting any time on anything else. So we're great. We're doing great. Okay, it is now during the week and I really just want to read. So I kind of skipped yesterday. Yesterday was Monday because that is one of the busiest days of my week. That's like probably the busiest day of my week. So I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna skip today and continue the challenge tomorrow because it's just not feasible on Mondays. Mondays are just way too busy. But now it's Tuesday, so now I think I will be able to go ahead and continue. And I did listen to Gone with the Wind on my way to school this morning, so now I'm at 10.5 hours. Look at that. So I'm well over halfway done. So if all goes according to plan, I'll read for 5 hours today and 5 hours tomorrow, and I will end the challenge. So I'm so close to finishing the book. I'm at 91%, so I'm definitely gonna finish it today, and then I will start reading whatever I read next. So probably like one of those lit fic books that I mentioned before, because I'm just in a very rare lit fic mood and I want to take advantage of it. So that's what I'm gonna do. Without further ado, let's get to more reading. Alright, so I'm at 9 hours 52 minutes left. Just finished the book. That ending was perfect. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of Poppy. I feel like she's come such a long way. She's one of those main characters that is like a power crawl. Like she starts off kind of like in a weak state and then she's just unrecognizable at this point. And I love stories like that. Yeah, I'm so glad that I started this and that I kept going with it. 'Cause I'm pretty sure that like after people finished the last book, like a lot of people stopped. But I feel like this is definitely my favorite of the series so far. It's probably gonna be a 4-star. None of them have been a 4-star yet. Amazing, amazing. Okay, for the lit fic, I literally have no idea which one I want, so I am just going to pick a random number between 1 and 8. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 8. 1. Okay. Alright, so that number is Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. Let's see how long it is. Okay, looks like it's a little over 300 pages. So that's kind of normal length of a book, not the monstrosity that I just read. That book was 695 pages, by the way. So I read over 600 pages so far in the challenge, not to mention what I've listened to in Gone with the Wind. I think with Gone with the Wind I've listened to at least 100 pages. I'll tell you the stats at the end, but I've listened to a lot of that. So this is gonna be the 3rd book of the challenge, so let's get into it. I have no idea what it's about. I'll let you guys know. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and head out for some takeout, but this book is really interesting so far. It is basically, feels like psychological. I think it was accurate for me to kind of like compare it to Gone Girl, and I think Silent Patient also kind of falls under this, where it's kind of like advertised as a thriller, but what it really is more just like a psychological, really kind of maybe uneasy, kind of, not disturbing, what's the word I'm looking for? I thought of a word, I'll think of it later, but it's like, unsettling. It's like unsettling, not exactly like heart-pounding, but it's just like, ooh, kind of spooky a little bit. So it is about this woman, and she wakes up one day and she wakes up with a man next to her, and she's like, oh, oopsie daisy, I accidentally like got drunk and slept with someone last night, and she can tell that he's like older and married and stuff, so she's like, oopsie. But then she goes to the bathroom and looks in the mirror and sees that she's 25 years older than she thought she was. So every morning she wakes up and doesn't remember the last 20-some years of her life. Sometimes she even thinks that she's still a child and looks in the mirror and she's like in her 40s. And so just off the bat, it's like you're totally in her shoes, knowing nothing before this, and then finally suddenly discovering that she is not what she thought she was. So it's so interesting to see that from her perspective, because I'm always so fascinated by people with like Alzheimer's, dementia, people that have problems with their memory, like how disorienting it must be to not remember something, and then everyone has to like keep on telling you because you literally don't know what's happening. So like her husband had to explain to her, I'm your husband. You got in an accident when you were 29 years old, and since then you've had memory problems, where she has like a really unique form of amnesia where she'll remember the whole day, but then as soon as she goes to sleep and wakes up, she forgets. So it's so interesting because she's like meeting with this doctor guy who's trying to help her with it, and so the unsettling feeling comes in because we're totally in the shoes of her, the main character. I don't think she's said her name yet. I don't know her name, but we're totally in her shoes because we don't know who to trust. We just have to blindly trust people when they say they are someone. Like, okay, I just have to trust that you are who you say you are, because she doesn't know any better. We don't know any better. So it is it's really cool. I feel like I'm gonna like it, and I feel like it'll be pretty bingeable. So I'm gonna go get takeout so I can keep on reading. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. So the place I wanted takeout from was closed. So I went to 7-Eleven, and you know what that means. Haul! Let's just get this out of the way because like it was obvious. This one has more though. So yay. Yay for my taste buds, not for my belly. And I got some chicken. I don't know, it's cheaper than getting chicken at a restaurant. For some reason it's really expensive here. Ridiculous. I got one of these popsicles. These are like also kind of in the US. They're kind of rare though, but they're originally Korean and I love them. I love them. And then I got some tonkatsu kimbap. And I forgot to get chopsticks, so that is great. So I'm about to chow down and read some more of Before I Go to Sleep. I think that's what it's called, Before I Sleep, or Go to Sleep. I'm gonna read that, yeah. Alright, I'm a third of the way halfway through the book and I'm on page 121. Here's where the time is at. I'm at 8 hours and 5 minutes left. So 17. I've read for 17 hours. That's a lot, actually. That's more than I thought. And I honestly feel like I'm gonna finish this tonight. Like, hopefully I won't fall asleep. But this is so intriguing, and it's also heartbreaking. Like, it is so heartbreaking, just this concept of this woman not knowing anything about her life, and then when it does come back, she's just so like crushed that she forgot about something so important. It's just so compelling. It's very compelling. It's very emotional, but also like I want to know what happens next. So I can't stop reading. Like I'm really not having a hard time just reading this straight and not doing anything else. Like I'm not getting distracted very much. I'm not going on my phone. I'm just like really enjoying reading it. It's like a mystery, but also a mystery that's very tied into someone's life. So it's emotionally and just plot-wise, it's intriguing. So I feel like this is really just a really good idea on this author's part to make a story about this because of those beats. They're just able to hit all of those beats. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on reading. I'm just really enjoying it. Alright, now I am 66% through. It's been a bit. Now I'm at 6 hours and 20 minutes. So I think it's been like 2 hours since I last updated you. I'm on page 242. It is definitely thickening. The plot is thickening and I'm so confused. I don't know who to trust and who's been telling the truth, who's been lying. Like all this stuff is really swirling around all of it. I feel like I just can't read fast enough. I just want to get to the end. I just want to figure it out and I can't read fast enough. I really want I want to finish it, but it's so late right now. I want to read maybe till I'm 75% through. I definitely could finish this in one sitting if it wasn't late already. I wish I'd started earlier or if I didn't have to eat or something. I don't know. I just really wanted to finish it today. But I have school tomorrow, so I kind of can't stay up too late. We'll see. We'll see what I decide to do. I'm kind of impulsive, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Anytime a book says something is wrong, it just freaks me out. I don't know why. I'm just like, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong. Read it. I'm like terrified. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. I am terrified right now. Okay, I finished it. It's 1:10 a.m. I'm gonna regret this in the morning, but right now I do not regret it because that book was amazing. The timer is at 4 hours 43 minutes. Yeah, that was definitely the best psychological thriller I've ever read. I feel like they're usually kind of disappointing. Like the reveal or whatever is predictable. The buildup was a bit too boring to keep me interested. Like something is just not executed properly. Like those popular ones like Silent Patient, Gone Girl, like they didn't really live up to the hype that I thought everyone else was giving it, and just like how awesome the reveals were and like all that stuff. I guess both of those reveals, like no problem. But with this one, it was just really good. It was just really well done. Still very intriguing. I wanted to see the end. I wanted to get to the end every second that I was reading this. I was just like, I have to know what'll happen. But it like wasn't like heart pounding until the ending, and the ending was extremely heart pounding. I was like freaking out. I mean, you saw me. And I think a lot of that is because I haven't really heard a lot about it. I was trying to guess the answer and stuff, but I had like no frame of reference. I didn't know any of what I was going into, and I feel like with these kinds of books, that's just a really great way to do it. And I think with the hype of a lot of psychological thrillers, I think that people just go into it with too much knowledge, and so that's kind of why I want to not really say very much about this book. Just what I said at the beginning, it's about a lady who loses her memories every time she wakes up, and that's it. But that was incredible. I mean, I don't usually read books in one sitting, so that was pretty amazing. No regrets. Even though it's 1 a.m. I have to wake up tomorrow. I don't have to wake up that early, but it's still like I have to wake up and use my brain because language learning is really hard. But I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. Oh man, I'm gonna be thinking about that book for a long time, which probably means it's a 5-star. So that's pretty freaking fantastic. All right, I am back. It is the next day. Still have 4 hours and 43 minutes left to read, so I'm gonna try and knock that out all today. And the book that I picked is called Lost Boy by Christina Henry. I haven't read anything from Christina Henry yet, but I feel like I'm gonna like her vibe. It's kind of like she does fairy tale reimaginings, but a little bit darker and creepier. And with Lost Boy, I know that it's from Hook's perspective. It's from Captain Hook's perspective, and like Peter is kind of the bad guy, and it's kind of their story together. Like they start out as friends. So that's what I know. That's what I know so far. I guess I'm just kind of in like a psychological kind of creepy mood from the book last night, but it was so good I can't stop thinking about it. Yeah, it was amazing. It was also pretty short, so I definitely recommend. This is also short. I wanted to pick something that's a little bit shorter so I have a chance of finishing it by the end of the challenge. I don't think I will, but there's a possibility. I don't know if I'll have time for this, but I'm in the middle of a chapter in Gone with the Wind. It's the most unsatisfying thing ever. I'm in the middle of a chapter, and so I kind of want to finish that, but it'll take like, actually it'll only take like 10 minutes because I'm listening to it on 2 times speed and there's 24 minutes left. So I might have time for that, but I also want to really try and finish this. We'll see. As always, nothing is planned, nothing is set in stone, so, okay. Anyway, I'm gonna start reading. So I have been reading, but not for the past like 30 minutes because I'm really trying to decide what to do about dinner. I've been feeling kind of like nauseous, like I have a weak stomach or something. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but whatever it was, it kept me awake last night, so I couldn't go to bed until 2:30 after I stayed up like, reading that book. So I did not get a lot of sleep last night. I'm trying to decide what to do about dinner because I don't want to like look good to go out. I don't want to make myself look good. So I might just get like convenience store food. What I really want is something like soupy, something with broth that's warm and comforting. Does that mean ramen? Does that mean I'm going to get ramen? My favorite kimchi stew place is closed right now. I was very sad to find that out. I think I'm just gonna go get ramen. I think that'll be fine. That doesn't usually make my stomach upset. And then I'll read some more. How far am I? Not that far. 20%. The timer's at 4 hours and 10 minutes. I haven't passed the 4-hour mark yet. Almost been reading for 20 hours. We're so close. I think I might be able to finish this book. Maybe. If I'm lucky, if I can stay concentrated. But I'm gonna go ahead and head to the convenience store. Alright, I'm 50% of the way through the book. We got 3 hours left. I'm probably gonna go take a shower and listen to Gone with the Wind while I do that. Hopefully it won't take too long because I do want to finish this. How long has this taken me? It's taken me about 1 hour and 40 minutes to get halfway through. So it'll take another 1 hour and 40 minutes for me to read the other half. Probably. Maybe a little bit longer because I'm getting more and more tired. Which means I will have another 1 hour and 20 minutes? Yeah, I'll have another 1 hour and 20 minutes after that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I'm going to spend some of that time now to take a shower and listen to Gone with the Wind. So I'm going to go do that. Alright, I'm about to start up on the book again. Let's talk about it a little bit because I have a few thoughts. So I'm really enjoying it so far. It is a lot more of like the traditional Peter Pan story. It's really brutal, not like the Disney movie. It's just casually talking about like these little boys dying and stuff like that. I feel like that is kind of how the older story was like. I actually don't really know a whole lot about the history of Peter Pan. Like I don't know if there were legends about it before the original story was written, but I do know a lot of just like lore and maybe theories about how like Peter Pan is actually just a lot more evil than he was portrayed. And this definitely took inspiration from that because Peter is very brutal in this, and I feel like if anything he's too brutal. Like I think it kind of lacks subtlety. Like he's scary, but it's not making me feel very uneasy. The last book that I read, I feel like what made it so like terrifying and so like uneasy was the subtlety of it and just like the mystery of it, and there's not really much to wonder in this. There is a few things, but like Peter's character just feels very expected. Not much is left to the imagination. And so that part is a bit disappointing, but everything else I feel like is pretty much what I was expecting. Although there isn't very much going on, but the vibe is very much what I was expecting and very much what I was looking for. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I always felt like Neverland and the Lost Boys, at least the way that they're originally described and portrayed in the original stories and not in like the Disney adaptations and stuff, I feel like they just felt kind of creepy and brutal to me before, and so this is really kind of solidifying that a little bit for me. It's just like, it doesn't sound like it would go well. Just a bunch of boys led by this super reckless boy that refuses to grow up and stuff. That just doesn't sound like it'll end well. That sounds like a Lord of the Flies situation, and that is what's kind of happening. Then our main character is definitely a little more reasonable and can see kind of Peter's descent into brutality, and so it's interesting to see it from his perspective, being kind of knowing where he ends up and who he becomes. So that is kind of like the mystery part of like, how do we get from point A to point B? Like, how did that happen? So that part is really intriguing, and I can't wait to keep reading it. It is reading really fast. Like, it only took me an hour and 40 minutes to get halfway through, like I said. So it only take me a little over 3 hours, so let's just keep on going. Got under an hour left, 88% through, let's finish it out. Wow, I have 36 minutes left. Wow, what a ride. I feel the same way I felt last night, and that's the same way I felt when I read almost all of Circe in one day. I read like all except for the last 30 pages or something of Circe in one day for a reading challenge. And it was so weird because it was like I just followed the whole life of an immortal person in one day, and that's kind of how I'm feeling. In the book last night, I felt like I just had lived her whole life. In this one, there's a lot of years talked about. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm reeling from experiencing all of that, all of someone's life. What a bizarre experience. What an awesome experience reading is. I love reading. It's just the best thing in the world. Rating. Oh, I need to think. I think maybe if I were to complain about anything, it's the stuff I said earlier, and then maybe the pacing is a bit rushed. I would have liked to spend a little bit more time in this world, because it is a pretty short book. It is only 304 pages, so that's pretty short for a book with this kind of concept. Like, I feel like it's a concept that deserves a longer book. Maybe it was a little bit rushed, but I feel like there was just a lot about it that was great. So maybe something like a 4-star, 3.75, somewhere around there. It's definitely the vibe that I was looking for. I think Christina Henry is good at this kind of thing. I'm excited to read her Alice book because I think that's her most well-known work, and I think it'll probably be the best from her. Because Alice, there's something about like Alice and the bizarre creepiness that is that I like, whereas like there's some horror stuff, some like creepy stuff that I don't like. But there's something about like the bizarreness or the outlandishness. I don't know. There's that one Alice video game, Alice Madness Returns. I think there was actually a series of video games, but that's the one that I know. And just that whole vibe was so great. Like, that kind of creepy I enjoy. It has to be a very particular kind of creepy for me to enjoy it, because I don't usually like that kind of thing. But whatever Christina Henry writes, that's kind of the vibe that I like. Yeah, that was really good. I have 36 more minutes that I have to read, so I'll just probably finish up some Gone with the Wind, and then I'll tell you guys how many pages in total I read for this challenge. So I'll see you then. Challenge complete. Oh, all right. So that was me reading for 24 hours over the course of 4 days. And I read a total of 1,762 pages. The first book I read, it was 695 pages in total, but subtracting 64 from that, it was 631. Is that right? 631 pages. And then from Gone with the Wind, I read a total of 459 pages over audio. So that's a lot. And then Before I Go to Sleep was 368 pages. Lost Boy was 304 pages. So all that totals to 1,762. So I would definitely call that a success. I would definitely say that I got on track with my Goodreads reading goal. I was kind of behind schedule, but now it's telling me that I'm on schedule. Yay! If I'm honest, that was probably some of the motivation to do this challenge. I wanted to get on track with that, but yeah. And I read so many great books. The first book I gave a 4-star. Before I Go to Sleep I gave a 5-star, and then Lost Boy I gave a 4-star, and then I still haven't finished Gone with the Wind yet, but I did get a really good chunk out of it, and I already gave you guys some of my thoughts. I don't know what I'm gonna rate that. I don't usually rate classics because usually it is kind of a toss-up for me. It's kind of a conflict of feelings a little bit. But all of these books I'm really glad that I read, and I had a really great time. I actually really want movie adaptations, especially for the last 2 books, Before I Go to Sleep and Lost Boy. The whole time I was just like, I need to see a movie of this. I think maybe because I feel like movies really do well with like the psychological unsettling feeling. Directors are just, if they're good, are really able to capture that well, and so I just wanted to see, I want to see movies of them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me during this challenge while I am in the midst of doing language school in Korea. Please stay tuned for other videos because I'm gonna keep on making videos like this, doing vlogs and reading challenges, hopefully both, and I'll see you guys in the next video that I make. Bye y'all!